Hi, welcome to my craft room. This is my Flosstube channel, Crazy Cat Lady Stitches, and I'm Shirley. And if you're new to my channel, a big hello and welcome, and if you're a return viewer, thank you very much for your kind support. I'd appreciate it if you could share these videos, and this video is part of Embroidery Basics. It is all about outline stitches. If you followed me in my first one, I would have shown you an outline stitch and a satin stitch as a part of the introduction to the series. I am working on a tablecloth that's got a Christmas theme. It's only 8 days to Christmas. I don't think I'll make it in time for this year, but it is a nice relaxing hobby that I don't have to count and count and count as I do with cross stitch. So without further ado, let me tell you the stitches that you see here. There are 5 stitches that I'm going to do. Yes, I do know there's 6 rows of stitches, but one row is the same stitch but a different method. So the first stitch is the outline stitch. The second stitch is the split stitch. The third stitch is a stem stitch. Then we've got a back stitch. Row is a running back stitch or the Holbein stitch, which is usually basically used in black work. And the last one is an unusual one that you wouldn't normally consider as an outline, but is the chain stitch. If you're interested to see how I achieve this look, keep watching. Right, I'm just starting off with a waist knot, and I'm going to do a couple of small pin stitches. I am using 6 strands of embroidery thread. This is from my unmarked stash. I've got a huge bag of threads that I've been given, inherited, and I don't know what the numbers are. They're numbered, but they don't say whether they're DMC or Anchor, Madeira, whatever, so I just use them for things like this. So there's one, and that's 2. Now the first, let me just go back into that one. Trying to make them as small as I can, because I'm hoping that the stitches will hide them. That might not hide that one, but still. Come up onto the line at the beginning, bring your needle to the front. We are travelling in this direction, so I am doing first of all the outline stitch. So I'm going to go in on the line. I'm going to use my layering tool to help to smooth it out, but also to make a loop, but you can use your finger. Then I am coming up as close as to the previous stitch as possible, or even into the same hole. Pulled it through, and then I'm just going to bring that through. Then I'm going back down again. I'm going to use that to help me make my loop. You can use this stitch with how many strands you want, 1 to 6. But I just thought it'd be easy to see doing all 6. What have I got here? This is because I'm using I'm not supposed to tangle. That's it. pull that through. I've got miles of thread. Should work with a little bit less. Bring that as close as possible to the previous stitch. Then roughly the same distance away. Try and keep your stitches even. Bring up through here. Just straightening out the thread. Bringing that up. Gone a bit long there. Unfortunately, this stand has a habit of moving. I'm going to try a non-slip mat and hopefully that will be beneficial. The only thing it doesn't slip on is the beanbag tray when I've used the beanbag side, but that's not very comfortable at times. So that is the outline stitch. And then what we do to finish it off is we'll go a little way. Hopefully you'll be hitting another stitch or another piece of stitching, so you can hide it under that. So that's that. I'm going to turn it over. This is why I like this frame. You can see how neat that is. I'm just going to weave that back along to keep it neat and tidy. And hopefully you'll have got some more stitches that you can weave this under. And then with my scissors I am going to cut there, and then I'm going to cut here. I could cut here and weave that through, but I know that is stitched quite well into that one. Cut the top knot off and pull it out, and we have got our outline stitch, previously shown you in the previous episode of Embroidery Basics, and that is the split stitch. I did that with two just to do an outline, but if I'm doing an outline that is outlining some stitching, I would do it like this. And this is again using 6 strands of embroidery thread, and I'm just going to do a couple of, see if I can get them smaller this time. Right, I've created pin stitches again, awful ones. I'm taking my thread, I'll just get my layer so I can just untwist it slightly. And now with a split stitch we go in here and let me just smooth that out. Then we come up near the beginning and then we, oops-a-daisy, hit the camera. Then we go down there, bring it down, and we split the stitch. Do the stitch. Right, whilst editing I found that the camera battery had died sooner than I thought. I thought I had completed the split stitch before it went, and it looked like it when I checked it, but no, can things be that simple? So I am just going to repeat it. I've done my stitches where I have done my pin stitches. I'm just going to put that down here. My hands are a bit slippy, as you might, I've got hand cream on. As you might have seen, I have got a very contact dermatitis finger at the moment and it's not clearing up. So we've done that stitch. So what we do now is, so we come back in front of the stitch that we've just come up from and split the stitch. I'll show you better in a minute. Oh. So I'll split that stitch. So when I do the next stitch, I will go down here and then come up here and split the stitch. So when I make the next stitch, I will go down here and I will come up here just in front of that one. Let's put that there, so I need it in a minute. Oh, let's get this back into position. In. Make sure it lies flat. Then I'll come up and split the stitch there. Go down. My hand is really slippy. It's not getting the tension on the needle. So I'm coming up here and splitting the thread. Go. Just get my tool of sorts. Try not to make it too taut, but not too loose either. So down we go. Nice and flat, so we can come up here. And this is how you do a split stitch. do another stitch and see if I can show you nice and neatly. Pull that taut so it's nice and straight, and then try and come up in the middle. Aha! So I've split the stitch, come along, down again, and down, and we'll just tidy it up at the back. There's the back, that's how it looks like, and we do as normal is just weave it, the end strands in, and then cut, and then cut the top knot. There, I've turned the frame around, pulled that away, and that is the split stitch. Bring the knot up here, bring it down, then I should do a couple of small stitches. I've actually got it. Right, I'm going to bring my needle up to the top of the fabric, out my way, and again we're travelling in that direction. With the needle, and again we're travelling in that direction with the needle. You'll see with the next stitch why that is so important. So I'm going to go down here. Where's my laying tool? Untwist it, just lay it flat, then just come, let me just pull this up so you can see what I'm doing, and pull that down. I'm just going to come up midway, as near as midway as I can. That's it. Now I'm going to pull this through, then I'm going to do another stitch about the same size, or a little bit. Again, I'm trying to keep the stitches even. Come up in the middle, which will be right bang here. Let's get that out of the way. That's my camera cap floating in the wind, if you was wondering what that click 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 was. And down here. Now with stem stitch you can go one way or the other, depending whether you're going up or down, or you're going opposite each other, but for that row you need to keep it going the same way, no jumping from top to bottom. So if you start off going top or right, whatever you want to do it, how you're looking at your work, you keep that way. If you start on the bottom or the left, you keep that way. So midway, And if you look at the twist from this one to this one, they're completely different, and it's because of where we are bringing our thread up. So down we go. In the middle. Just going to flatten that out a little bit. Down we go. In the middle. Down we go. Then come up the middle. And that is how you create a stem stitch. Again, just going to weave this and then cut it. And I cut the knot, and then if I'm worried about that, I can weave that into the back of the work as well. So that is the stem stitch. The back stitch is a common stitch in most forms of embroidery, except for tapestry. I think I've not seen it in that. Could be wrong, but in gold work, in hardanger, embroidery, cross stitch. Back stitch is a common factor to all. In cross stitch is used to outline stitches to give features and definition. It's the main form of black work, because that is just single stitches, and that will consist of the two methods of back stitch that I am going to show you today. So this is the classic back stitch. So we're going in, and again we're travelling that way, but the needle is travelling backwards. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So that's my first stitch. Where's my layering tool? I'm just going to straighten that out. Then I'm going to come up here. So I hide this stitch. I'll actually split it. And then I'm going to go down in the hole that I've created going down the previous one. Let me just, you can see it's been on a bobbin for a long time, it's been kinked again. I'm just going to go up down into the previous hole. I'm just going to smooth this out. Up. Needle back down into the previous hole. Of course, you won't be using necessarily the layering tool in cross stitch or in doing back stitch. It's just that I have got 6 strands of thread and I just want to make it as smooth as possible. God, this is almost as slippery as an eel. Give it a bit of pressure and it just runs away. But it's good on your lap. If you don't want, take that out of my mouth. If you don't want to use a layering tool, you can always use your finger. But it's a bit thick. But it does do it, and quite often when I'm stitching I will do that so it goes over my finger. So I'll just continue like this. Sorry about the frame slipping. Question. Let me know who leaves their back stitch to the last and who does it as they go along. I tend to be as I go along person unless I have got things to do, like I'm doing 12 Days of Christmas by Bothy Threads and I got things like couching and things like that, so I'm at the moment thinking I'm leaving that until I'm at the end and I can do all the fancy stitching and everything all at once with the back stitching. So that is the back stitching. That's a back stitch and I'm just going to weave the thread, snip it, and I showed you the back of that because the next stitch I'm going to do is also a form of back stitch. It is the Holbein stitch or the running back stitch. So I'm just going to start, it's getting a bit dark in here, let's put some light on. It's getting late in the afternoon, it was quite bright sunshine when I started. So here we go. Again, a couple of little small stitches. And I'm going to come up to the top of the and then I'm going to go down, then I'm going to come back up again around here, trying to keep the space between your stitches even, and you're basically doing a running stitch. do that until you get to the end. Again, if you're doing cross stitch, you can vary the length as to what you need to do as per diagram. Sometimes my back stitches become a bit more of a long stitch, but so I've come to the end, so I bring this back up and then I'll just return, going up and down the holes that I previously made. A lot easier on even weave, linen and etc. But it does make a very nice neat stitch, especially for black work where traditionally the stitches are the same from the back to the front. Very difficult to do sometimes, especially when you're trying to work the pattern out. So that is the last stitch. I'm just going to go down here. So that's your back stitch, and now you can see the difference in the two stitches. That one has a similar appearance to the top half, whereas this one is just like a split stitch running thing. So what you'll do then is just weave it back in again, snip that and then snip that in case you need to weave that in, but I don't think I will, so I'll just snip it. And that is your Holbein or your running back stitch. Right, the last stitch that I'm doing is for the outline stitch, is one that you might not consider as an outline stitch, but is very good if you're wanting a nice thick border, and that is the chain stitch. Now the chain stitch, I will need my trusty tool. I'm just going to, we're travelling that way, but I'm just going to bring that down here, and then I'm just going to go in next door to the stitch I've just come up by and make a loop. Then I'm going to come up, slide that onto my stitch. So this is almost like a stocking stitch. Then I'm going to bring it down, make a loop, untwist the loop, bring your needle up here, slide it on, and make another loop. Now you can do it this way, where you put your finger through, hold it, bring it up, slide it through, bring it down, put your finger over that again, make a loop, bring it down, put your finger on there again, and you could almost use your finger as a guide. Let's put my finger back in, let's untwist it. So if I put my finger in and just rest it there, I can come up at the top of my fingernail rest it, push it down, put the finger there, bring it up to my nail, and I'll have a consistent chain. You can make them smaller if you want. See if I can make a smaller one for you. So you can vary the chain to how you want it, wide, small, bring that one back down. As all anything, if you keep it consistent to what size you have, you won't have any issue. You can make it as small or as large as you want, depending on what you're doing. I used to blanket stitch on my scout blanket, you know, my scout unit, my name, so that would be in larger letters, and I had all sorts of badges on that I used to stitch on there. So this is the last one, so I'm going to come up. It was actually my dad's originally, so I don't know where it is now. It's probably moth-eaten, and I'm just going to do two little things which will be probably hidden under another stitch, and there's your chain stitch. I'll show you the back. I'll just weave in stitch, cut that. If we need to weave in that bit, we can. Those are the 5 stitches. So we have got the outline stitch, the split stitch, the stem stitch, the back stitch, the Holbein stitch or running back stitch, and chain stitch, and those are your 5 main stitches for outlining. Please let me know what you think. Put your thoughts and ideas in the comments down below. If you'd like this video, can you please give it a big thumbs up, and if you could share it, I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed and you would like to join me on further exploration of embroidery stitches, cross stitch and tapestry, please do so.